This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the News of the Week for
February 4th, 2023.
And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more.
Never target speech. Project Veritas has obtained emails between the New York Times and the Justice Department. As of this recording, we are still waiting to see what is in the emails. This is the same fake news organization that was acting on behalf of the Biden administration in regards to a certain diary. Big Tech covered up his son's laptop, while the fake news is helping to cover up his daughter's diary. James O'Keefe gave Adam Goldman a chance to go on the record to talk about this. Goldman accused O'Keefe of surveilling his home without any evidence whatsoever. In short, Goldman seems scared. Criminals exposed by Project Veritas should be scared. Criminals continue as criminals. We know that Flip-Flop Fauci was intimately involved with the lab in Wuhan. He even knew about the gain-of-function research. He stepped down from his lofty pulpit, used to talk down to us. In all likelihood, he took a job with one of these big pharmaceutical companies. My money is on Pfizer. After all, they are trying to evolve the virus in the lab in order to plan new drugs.
Pfizer not wanting the public to know that you guys are doing directed evolution.
Bro, what's going on here? That feels like an interview. I don't know, it's freaking me out. Coming these flashbacks to that same organization of those conservative people who randomly go into organizations and then befriend people who work in these organizations and then report them, which happened to people at Pfizer. So it freaks me out when people start asking a lot of questions about work. It's so great.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Why are we back on this topic?
Because I just want to know the answer.
They're not probably reporting me. Oh my god, Jason, that'd be horrible. You would not be reporting me or something like that.
This will be their big moneymaker in the coming years. I am sure that there will not be a lab leak in America because Pfizer is careful. Either way, scientists manipulating viruses to make them more deadly or virulent is something that you would expect from a comic book villain. However, we live in a world where Satan is out in public and people still cannot see him. Trump on Facebook. One of the biggest jobs of social media is to speak truth to power. Such a thing is not possible when you take away the right of anyone who disagrees with you to speak. However, recently Donald Trump was allowed back onto Facebook.
Well, the way I see it, there are three possibilities.
Possibility 1, they are trying to trap Trump in his own words. Possibility 2, they are trying to save face so that there are no Facebook files. Possibility 3, they do not think that he can cause more damage and want the ad revenue. There are a lot of horrible people out there, but depriving someone of liberty, especially if they have not committed a crime, is just all kinds of wrong. Karma can be nasty. Remember when the fake news decided that President Trump was a Russian agent without evidence?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Now we have Charles McGonigal, who performed said investigations, under arrest. What could this FBI agent have been charged with? Other than money laundering to avoid U.S. sanctions to aid a Russian oligarch? Not much. Someone who went out of his way to complain about Russian assets was himself a Russian asset.
Ironic.
Why do I bother to bring this up? Other than the agents from the FBI and other intelligence agencies having to admit that they had nothing. I just love how sweet this karma is. We are not supposed to delight in the sufferings of our enemies, but there is no explicit command forbidding us from mocking them for it. Google charged by the DOJ. What would happen if Goldman Sachs owned the New York Stock Exchange? Only their investments would succeed and their stock price would always be perfect. One Google employee made this comparison in regard to their monopoly on internet ads. The Department of Justice is trying to break up the monopoly. They have even scammed the federal government with higher rates for ads because of their monopoly. Now, I do not believe that it is the government's job to break up monopolies. Only monopolies created by the government get my ire. And there are a lot of those. Something tells me that this monopoly also came about as a part of the FBI trying to keep certain facts out of the discussion as an arm of Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird is here to remind you to never question the official narrative. Granted, I could not prove that, but it is my hypothesis. Paul Pelosi's 911 call. Remember when Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked with a hammer?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Immediately we were told that it must have been some right-wing extremist. Now the body cam footage shows something very different. Not only did he call the person a guest on the 911 call, not only did he open the door for the cops, any normal person would say that it looked staged.
There's something awfully screwy going on around here.
Pelosi will be drinking quite a bit to forget that her political stunt was exposed. Just like when she went to a salon while the rest of us were locked in our homes. Being racist against yourself. Racism is very active in America by people who spend all of their time talking about it.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
A black man was killed during a traffic stop. If this was all that you knew about the situation, I would not be surprised. I always wait to comment on these things until the facts come out. As it turns out, the officers in question had the same melanin concentration. Now the fake news is essentially claiming that the officers can be racist against themselves. Just like when Larry Elder was called a black white supremacist. Somehow, commenting on the melanin of the officers is also racist. It is also racist to mention certain statistics. A trans ice skater. I have often joked about why there are no athletes with XX chromosomes competing in men's sports. However, now we see a man that is competing as a woman in ice skating. And this is what it looked like. Try not to laugh.
Naismoodissa, vaikka syntyperäisin olenkin mies. Ja sieltä on niin kuin 9 vuotta aikaa, eli siihen 9 vuoteen sisältyy aika paljon. Eli kun lähdetään ihan nollasta, niin ihan jo sitä, että pysyy pystyssä 2 jalalla, pysyy pystyssä 1 jalalla ja sen jälkeen rupeaa niin kuin uskaltamaan tehdä jotakin siellä jäällä. Ja sitten alkaa pikkuhiljaa kisaamaan ja esiintymään näytöksissä. Ja niin.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
On ollut, mutta tietysti korona tuli vähän sitten väliin, että se sitten sotki kuviota. Mutta eteenpäin mennään ja homma ja...
I think I will be taking that.
I honestly could not watch that with a straight face. There are certain things that men are good at and certain things that women are good at. There are exceptions, but it is a general rule. The snowflakes are just going to say that this person is not as good of a skater. I think that there are certain things that men are better at than women and vice versa. Animals, plants, and parasites. There are a lot of people that want the human population to drop back to the level during the 1970s. They can go first. In the meantime, the rest of us will go on with our lives. The UK journal Lancet claims that we need to shift away from human-centered healthcare to ecological healthcare. In essence, all life is equal. Now I am sure that the people who believe that we share an ancestor with SpongeBob believe this to be true. However, not all life is equal. Humans were created in the image and likeness of God. No other creature shares this distinction. Therefore, we should care for humans first. Then humans are to act as stewards of the environment. I will go back to my steak now. What is a sin? When it comes to Pope Francis, always double-check what the fake news says about him. They love to misconstrue what he says to advance their own political agenda. Pope Francis has stated that homosexuality is a sin, but not a crime. Such acts are, quote, intrinsically disordered, close quotes. Thus, his criticism is on so-called anti-gay laws. It might be a good idea to just not have the state define marriage at all. It also might be easy to just not ask me to call your sin virtuous. My sins are no worse than anyone else's, but I do not ask people or churches to bless my sins. Pope Francis falsely states that this is about accepting people as they are. In reality, he wants bishops to accept sins as they are. Twitter testifies. The Twitter files have revealed so much that we already knew, and things that we only suspected. I have no doubt that there are plenty of Facebook files and YouTube files that need to be disclosed as well. In the meantime, 3 former Twitter employees have agreed to go on the record before a congressional committee. Adam Schiff claims that this is a conspiracy theory. He believes that this is designed to keep them from investigating January 6th. Or as normal people call it, the mostly peaceful protest of January 6th. Is Trump derangement syndrome is just sad. There's a lot more to this than meets the eye, and a lot more to uncover.
Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And if you enjoyed this content, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. And also don't forget to follow me on social media.